Today we are going to see the digestion and absorption of lipids. We know that digestion is a process in which the complex nutrients that is derived from food origin are converted into simple one, which one is easily absorbed and used for further metabolic activities. In this module, fat, that is lipid, which is a heterogeneous group of substance available for our utilization either from plant origin or animal kingdom. These complex heterogeneous group of compounds are involved in the process of digestion under the favorable condition, that is with the involvement of gastric juice and bile as well as enzyme convert the complex substance into simple one. Simple substances are soluble in water with the formation of other substances, and it will be easily available for further absorption. The absorption helps to have further metabolic activities. Metabolic activity helps to fulfill the nutritional demand of the body. Like that, today's module, we are going to see about the process involved in the digestion and absorption of fat or lipids. Today we are going to see the module entitled Digestion and Absorption of Lipids. Absorption of lipids. Most of the major nutrients in the food are found in large molecules which cannot be absorbed from the intestine because of the size or not soluble in water. The reduction of these large molecules into smaller, readily absorbed units and conversion of insoluble molecules into soluble form in the work of a digestive tract is known as digestion. The process of digestion is a series of physical and chemical changes by which the food taken into the body undergoes hydrolysis, that is addition of water, and is broken down in the preparation for absorption from the intestinal tract into the bloodstream. The physical changes in the foods are brought by grinding, crushing, mixing the foods with a digestive juice and propulsion of massive through digestive tract. The propulsive force of gastrointestinal tract resides in the circular and longitudinal smooth muscle contained in its wall. These muscles turn and push the food mass along the digestive tract in peristaltic movement towards the anus. During propulsion of the chyme through the gout, it is mixed at appropriate time with the digestive juice, which begin the chemical changes of food. The active material in digestive juice which cause this chemical breakdown are enzyme, both endogenous and exogenous enzyme. The whole process is regulated through neural and hormonal mechanism. In neural mechanism, the neural control of gastrointestinal contraction and secretory activity is composed, whereas in hormonal mechanism, hormones are involved to promote the rate of digestion and absorption for further metabolic activities. Now we will see the digestion of lipids. Almost all the lipids presented to digestive tract for hydrolysis are triglycerides. Only a small fraction of dietary fat consists of cholesterol esters and phospholipids. Fats are hydrolyzed primarily in upper small intestine by the action of pancreatic lipase. Some digestion of triglycerides may also take place in the stomach. The heat of the stomach is important in liquefying the bulk of dietary lipids. Emulsification takes place aided by peristaltic contraction, although the stomach does contain lipase capable of hydrolyzing triglyceride containing fatty acids of short and medium chain length. The lipotic action of gastric juice is not important. However, the lingual lipase secreted by lingual gland on the dorsal surface of the tongue can continue its activity at low pH of the stomach, where because of the retention time of 2 to 4 hours, about 30% of dietary triglyceride may be digested. Lingual lipase is more active on triglycerol, having short chain fatty acid, and is more specific for ester linkage in number 3 position rather than that in number 1 position. Milk fat contains short chain and medium chain fatty acid, which turn to be in number 3 position. For this reason, lingual lipase is believed to be particularly important in the digestion of fat in newborn babies. Human breast milk also contains lipase that contributes a fat digestion in young infants. The released hydrophilic short-chain fatty acids are absorbed via stomach wall and enter the portal vein, whereas longer chain fatty acid dissolve in fat droplets. As chyme enters the duodenum, the presence of fat stimulates the release of hormone estrogen. This hormone reduces gastric motility and regulates the flow of chyme to correspond to the availability of the pancreatic secretion. The presence of fat in the duodenum also stimulates the intestinal wall to secrete cholecystokinin, a hormone that is carried to gallbladder by bloodstream. The gallbladder is a circular organ attached to the hepatic duct. It stores certain amount of bile produced by the liver between the meals. The cholecystokinin stimulates the contraction of the gallbladder, thereby forcing the bile into common bile duct and then into small intestine. The pancreatic secretion mixes with the bile since they empty into the common duct shortly before its entry into the duodenum. Now we will see the role of bile. The bile has several important functions in fat digestion and absorption and are: number 1, it stimulates the peristalsis. It neutralizes the acid chyme so as to provide optimum hydrogen ion concentration for enzyme activity. It emulsifies the fat, thereby increasing the surface area exposed to enzyme action. Fourth one, it lowers the surface tension so that intimate contact between the fat droplets and enzyme is possible. The pancreatic lipase acts on the finally emulsified lipid droplets formed by mechanical agitation in the gut in the presence of products of lingual lipase activity. Bile salt, cholipase, that is a protein present in pancreatic secretion. Phospholipids and phospholipase also present in pancreatic secretion. Phospholipase brings about limited hydrolysis of ester bond, is second position of the glycerophospholipids of both biliary and dietary origin to form lysophospholipids. This action of phospholipase results in binding of pancreatic lipase to subtract interface and rapid hydrolysis of triglycerol. Cholipase binds to the bile salt triglyceride water interferes, providing a high affinity anchor for lipase. The triacylglycerol or hydrolysis device by pancreatic lipase, that is, one of the end fatty acid is removed at a time, yield in turn diacyl cholesterol or diacylglycerol and then a monoacylglycerol, with the fatty acid attached in medium or number 2 position. The pancreatic lipase is virtually specific for hydrolysis of primary ester linkages at the position 1 and 3 triacylglycerol. The removal of fatty acids linked but secondary esters bond requires isomerization to primary linkage. This is relatively slow process. As the result, 2-monoacylglycerol are major end products of triacylglycerol digestion. Less than 1/4 of ingested triacylglycerol is completely broken down to glycerol and fatty acid. Cholesterol esters are hydrolyzed by cholesterol ester hydrolase or cholesterol esterase present in pancreatic secretion to form cholesterol and fatty acid. Now we will see the end products of lipid hydrolysis that are present for absorption include number 1 fatty acid, glycerol, 2-monoacylglycerol, some amount of monoacylglycerol and cholesterol lysophospholipid. Here we have some doubt to clear. Yes, when we take a diet rich in fat, have an uneasy feeling as the food has not been digested and have a fullness in the feeling in the stomach. You have to know the reason for this happening. Yes, the answer is fat reduces the motility of gastrointestinal tract as it stimulates the reduce of a hormone enterogestrone. As a result, any food which is rich in fat makes the food to remain in the stomach longer than diets low in fat. Second question is related to fried food which take long time to be digested. The answer for this one, the fried foods are digested somewhat more slowly than foods prepared by other methods of cooking because while frying, food particles are coated with fat. This coating of fat must be broken down before they can be acted by the enzyme. Properly fried foods normally do not cause digestive difficulties. When frying temperature is too low, fat absorbs excessive amount of fat, lengthening the time required for their digestion. Now it is clear why fried foods take long time to be digested. Next aspect is how the digestive food absorbed in the body. Now we will see the actual absorption of fat. The absorption of fat, other lipids involved the passage of the digestion products across the intestinal mucosal membrane, their modification within the mucosal cell and their transport finally into the circulating blood. Most of the absorption of fat occurs from the jejunum. The products of fat digestion are insoluble in water. Bile salt, which is an emulsifier, disperses the products of a lipid digestion into tiny droplets or micelles, surrounding each droplet with a shell of water. In effect, this allows the fat to move easily in watery medium. This is accomplished because one end of the emulsifier molecule is soluble in water while other end is soluble in lipids. The micelles being soluble allow the products of lipid digestion to be transported through the aqueous environment of the mucosal lumen to the breast border of the mucosal cell where they are absorbed into the intestinal epithelium. Over 98% of dietary lipid is normally absorbed. Upon reaching the mucous cell, the bile salt releases the lipid substance which diffuse passively across the cell membrane. The bile salt remain in the lumen and move down to the ileum, where most of them are absorbed by the portal vein and return to the liver. This is known as enterohepatic circulation of bile salt. Now we will see what happened to the product of lipid digestion inside the mucosal cell. Intestinal lipase located just inside the mucosal cells breaks down the glycerides as they enter the cell to fatty acid and glycerols. Fatty acids of less than 12 carbon immediately enter the portal blood and are carried to the liver. However, the chain is more complicated. These fatty acids are again formed into triglyceride within the mucosal cell, utilizing the glycerol released within the intestinal mucosal cell. The free glycerol released in the intestinal lumen is not utilized but passes directly to the portal vein. The absorbed lysophospholipid together with much of the absorbed cholesterol are also reacylated with fatty acid to regenerate phospholipids and cholesterol esters. These cholesterol esters, phospholipids, triacylglycerols, cholesterol and fat-soluble vitamins generate chylomicron that form a milky liquid that is known as chyle, that is collectively by lymphatic vessel of abdominal region and passed to the systemic blood via the thoracic tract. Of the plant sterol, none is absorbed from the intestine except activated ergosterol or provitamin D. Now we will see the third aspect, transport of lipids in the blood. After absorption from the alimentary canal, and their modification of lipid must be carried out in blood either to the storage site or to the muscles and other tissue where they serve as a source of energy. From the storage site, they must be taken to the active tissue when alimentary absorption is not taking place. In addition, they must pass to and from liver and other tissue where the synthetic process and chemical transformation takes place. We have noted that lipids are insoluble in water and must be put into the form of chylomicron before they can be moved out of the intestinal mucosal cell into the lymph and finally into the blood. Chylomicrons are one of the several carriers used by the blood to transport lipids. These carriers are called lipoprotein because they have an outer coating of protein and an inner core of lipids. Lipoproteins are classified according to the density as chylomicrons: very low density lipoprotein, low density lipoprotein, and high density lipoprotein. The protein moiety of a lipoprotein is known as apolipoprotein or apoprotein. The typical lipoprotein consists of lipid core of mainly non-polar triacylglycerol and cholecystyrol ester surrounded by a surface layer of more polar phospholipid, cholesterol and apoprotein. Some apoproteins are integral and cannot be removed, whereas others are free to transfer to other lipoproteins. Now we will see how lipoproteins differ in their composition. In general, lipoproteins have different composition. Protein content in chylomicron is 2%. In VDL, it is 9%. In LDL, it is 21%. And in HDL, it is 50%. HDL has a higher amount of protein, therefore is heavier than the other lipoprotein. The triacylglycerol content in chylomicron is 86%. In VLDL, it is 51%. In LDL, it is 11%, and HDL 10%. Chylomicrons have the highest content of triacylglycerol and therefore lowest density. In the same way, there is a difference in the amount of phospholipids and cholesterol content of different lipoproteins. In the next aspect, we will see how free fatty acids are transported bound to serum albumin. Chylomicrons are machinery for transporting dietary lipids to extrahepatic tissue and liver. However, they are rapidly hydrolyzed by lipoprotein lipase and released triacylglycerol are taken up by extrahepatic tissues. The blood plasma is thus cleared within 6 to 8 hours after fatty meal. The remaining lipoproteins are present in blood to some extent at all times. The triacylglycerol synthesized endogenous are carried out by VLDL produced primarily the liver. The triacylglycerol are released from VLDL by the same lipase that acts on chylomicrons, and residues left are intermediate density lipoproteins, which are rich in cholesterol esters. These are converted LDL, the major carrier of cholesterol, to the arteries and peripheral tissue. Elevated level of LDL are considered a significant risk factor for CVD, that is cardiovascular disease. This elevated level of LDL is risk factor for CVD. The major role of LDL is transport cholesterol to peripheral tissue, and so is also responsible for high serum level of cholesterol, which in turn cause the disease and death by contributing to the deposition of cholesterol in arteries throughout the body, and that's why the elevated level of LDL is considered as a risk factor for CVD. HDL, on the other hand, transport cholesterol from the arteries and peripheral tissue to the liver for excretion from the body. For this reason, it is also called a scavenger of cholesterol. This function of HDL reduces the changes or the chances of getting CVD. Thus, the digested and absorbed lipids are transported for further metabolic activities. From this module, we are able to conclude the process involved in the rate of digestion with the involvement of variety of enzyme and different types of secretion like bile, which will be involved to promote the rate of digestion and also available for further absorption. The absorption is useful to have further metabolic activity. In that manner, the complex dietary nutrients, especially the lipids, are converted into simple one, and it is available for our metabolic activity. Knowing the fact, fat is an important macronutrient, not only essential to promote the health status and also essential to prevent the occurrence of disease like cardiovascular disease. For example, the simple fatty acid or simple fatty substance are responsible for occurrence of many types of disease, especially the cardiovascular disease. If the nutrients that the fat which is availability is based on the recommended allowance of the individual.